with the constant whining and constant focus on the officials. It's a mistake. Let's bring in a couple of my guys that I love. Reese from Keep the Vision. Frank, man, you always put me to a test. I'm just gonna call you Frank the Pope. I'm not gonna say the name. I can't even do the Pope be Frank. I just did it.
You don't gotta
Anyway,
say it on Jason, just Pope. Pope is fine. The Pope.
Pope. The Pope. Yeah, the Pope. Anyway, the Pope, I'm going to let you fire first since you've already run it off at the mouth and I've already ripped your name. Are the Fever too whiny?
Yes, of course, especially after you lose the way you did, like you said, to the Dallas Wings. That's ridiculous. Don't go crying about the refs when you lose to one of the worst teams in the WNBA, right? And then secondly, now, Kaylin Clark, she has reason to do her. I don't like it neither, but she got reason because she gets nothing. And I haven't heard Stephanie White come out for Caitlin's defense the way she just did Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston. That was amazing. But that's I don't think it's a reflection of Kaylin Clark. I think more on Sophie, the trophy, gun in hand, Cunningham. We love her, Jason. We went and got fresh cuts for her today because we knew we'd be talking about Sophie. We fighting for Sophie.
Want to look the best you could. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Sophie the trophy. Want to look the best you could. Put your best foot forward. Yeah. But I agree.
To me, all the podcasting these women are doing during season or in the NBA, the league period. I mean, just the sport and athletes period. Professional athletes doing podcasts while they're in season. It's just crazy to me. It shows you're not focused. It shows a lack of focus on the craft at hand, on your opponents. It's so much nuances that goes into the sports, and whether it's basketball, football, like Michael Parsons and Travis Hunter and all these. It's just bad business. That's why sports is hard to watch nowadays in general. I know I said WNBA hard to watch. Same goes for the NBA. Same goes for the NFL. What are we doing here today, Jason? I'm turned off.
But Maurice, before I let you chime in, I'm going to defend Stephanie White, who I'm really critical of right now overall. But the reason why she doesn't jump to Caitlyn Clark's defense publicly as strong as she did Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston is because she's dealing with the fact that Caitlyn Clark on the court when she plays spends way too much time talking to the referees. And she feels like if she jumps in and starts defending that, she's just going to get more of it. They're trying to break Caitlyn Clark of that. Hey, just play your game. Your game, your jump shot, your playmaking ability can fix all of that. It's greater than you trying to fix the referees. Let me and the coaching staff do that. That's why she doesn't play into that. Maurice, I want you to start here. What do you think of my contention that Caitlyn Clark's focus on the referee has made the Fever focus on the referee, and that Stephanie White is actually following the lead of her best and the league's most transcendent player?
Well, I agree with the Pope on that. Caitlyn Clark has been brutalized in this league, unlike any player we've seen. Nobody's been more flagrantly fouled. I think she has every right to complain to the refs. And to a degree, everybody has a right in a vacuum to complain about the referees. We've seen Minnesota Lynx head coach Cheryl Reeves come out and talk about the refs, Gabby Williams with the Seattle Storm, Kelsey Plum with the Sparks. Everybody has been blasting these refs. So in a vacuum, yes, everyone is right. These refs should be working at McDonald's. These refs should be bagging groceries. These refs should be putting air in your tires when the tires are low. We know they're not real officials. But I also agree with this. Stephanie White, what are you talking about? You guys lost to the Dallas Wings. I mean, there's no excuse for that. Rather than Stephanie White complaining about the referees, why don't you figure out in 3 out of the 4 games, you've given up 92 points a game. The only team you look competent defensively was against the gum on the bottom of the shoe, Chicago Sky. So let's not blame the referees. How about you do a better job having the team prepared? Aaliyah Boston got dragged up and down the floor by a Chinese lady, Lee Ureru, who comes off the bench. You brought in Natasha Howard. You're giving her max contract money. She got destroyed by a woman named Maddie Segrist. You guys did not lose because of the officials at all. You fall down 14 in the first quarter, then you fall down 17 in the third quarter all over again. Let's not blame officials and play this game here. You guys need to do better at your job. It's as simple as that.
Cook.
Love your point, Maurice. I do want to add this bit of context, and I apologize to everyone. I got a WNBA sickness, and so Maddie Segrist is actually better than anyone knows. Maddie Segrist will get you a bucket. Period. She did it in college. She could have stayed an extra year in college. That girl's a walking bucket. I wish she was on the Fever. She is what everybody thinks Chloe Bibby is. She is actually that girl. Walking bucket. Again, I got this sickness, so I know the WNBA. She's Catholic, Christian, heterosexual, getting married. Perfect fit for the Indiana Fever. And that's the other. I wasn't planning on going here. But if you look at what's going on with the Dallas Wings, it's what should be going on with the Indiana Fever. If you look at what the Dallas Wings, hey, Dejanay Carrington and Nalia Smith, y'all take y'all's little sex show elsewhere, and I know that Paige Beckers is on your scissor team or, alphabet team or whatever. I get it. But that's not what we're building around Paige Beckers. We're going to duplicate a UConn-type, Taylor Swift-type environment around Paige Beckers. And I looked out there and I was like, man, where they get all these white girls? Where Dallas, they got 4 white girls out there. And I was like, man, they're doing in Dallas, putting Paige Becker in a proper environment, and they're not doing it culturally. And again, I like a lot of the Fever players, including Natasha Howard, but I'm not sure if she's the right fit for the Taylor Swift team that the Indiana Fever need. Maurice, you pick up from there. That was one thing that I just thought about in that last game with Dallas. Like, man, look at the Dallas Wings. Man, they're putting, because Paige Beckers is a baller, and if they get the flopping out of her, I'm going to end up liking Paige Beckers to some degree. Now, the whole alphabet deal and what she done turned out this Azzy Fudd, I'm not, it all bothers me. But anyway, your thoughts on that?
I agree with you. The Dallas Wings are putting the pieces in place to, like we said before, it's not just about the skill on the floor. It's about the people that you're with in the locker room. And the Dallas Wings removed Dejanay Carrington. They removed Nalissa Smith. I don't believe Arike Ogunbowale will be back next season. They are putting the pieces around the young star. That is what you were supposed to do. We went and brought in Natasha Howard, and she's a solid player, but it was a red flag for me. I was alarmed when the lady got to the podium and said, I would like to win MVP this year. Whoa. We needed role players. You must have had a conversation with Stephanie White, and she promised you things that she shouldn't have. There's no reason Natasha Howard should have been talking about winning MVP, joining a team with the Leah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and Kelsey Mitchell. So I agree with you. I don't believe we brought in the right people. I don't know why we went and got Sydney Colson. She's not even a WNBA player anymore. She's just not good enough. We need more Sophies, Lexi Halls. I'm good with Aaliyah Boston. I'm good, Dante. People like that. We need the right people around. And I just don't feel like bringing in Dewana Bonner and all of this stuff. I just feel like it was a poor job.
Frank, go ahead.
In the words of our friend Ock Nation, we don't want to recreate Grambling State, Jackson State over in Indiana. We want to recreate Iowa, okay? We want the Hannah Stokies. You better pick her up next year. She'll be available for you in the draft. We want Kate Money Martin. Do what you need to do to go get Gabby Marshall. Do what you need to do to go get Lisa Bluter, Mama Blue. Go give us Iowa. You know how that will set the league on fire, put them on notice. It will be something to watch, must-see TV at all times. And so I'm confused by what they did to Natasha Howard. She looked casket ready most of the time, wax museum style. Then you bring in Dewana Grandmama Bonner, who quit on us in the blink of an angel Reese eyelash. Yeah, she quit on us immediately. I said, "Whoa, look at what we seen this coming from a mile away." Now you got Sophie, who she riding this Kaylin Clark train. She riding this Kaylin Clark train. She getting to the money. That's why she came out with that Paige Buckers. So her beauty does need to be on display. Okay, and I was wrong. The WNBA is not going away with that offer. They just offered them. Tells me it's here to stay. And so I'm gonna say I was wrong. That was a crazy take, Jason. And they gonna end up taking it. It's smart for them to. I mean, it's negotiations. You know how negotiations you know how they work. You're not supposed to take the first deal, so you come with $1 million. Oh no, that's
They
crazy.
need to
That's
take the first deal. They need to take the first deal.
No, because it's still gonna be there, Reese. It's still gonna be there. So now that you know that you have that on the table, it's not going nowhere. You want to see maybe will they inch up a little bit more, and so that's smart for them. I understand them saying no, thank you, and acting like it was disrespectful. Put on the show.
I think there's going to be a woke stoppage. It will not be a work stoppage. It'll be because they're woke, and they'll always think they can never be satisfied. They can offer them 10 times. I'm like, well, that ain't good enough. It must be 11. You give them 11 times. Well, no, it really needs to be 12. It'll be something that will cause them to have a woke stoppage. These women are delusional. I want to move on. And Frank, I'm going to start with you, but I've already seen Maurice piggyback on this, but because I want to have this conversation because I think it's one of the most fascinating things going on in the WNBA. Angel Reese is on a milk carton, and it doesn't appear, it seems like only me and Maurice are even looking for her, looking for an explanation. It makes no sense to me that someone who allegedly is one of the faces of the league, one of the most important, ESPN, her double-double streak has reached 12, and she's a historic player, and who knows who the rookie of the year is. She can just disappear, claim a back injury. They can say every day she's day-to-day. There's no story about, hey, what's going on with her, what type of back injury, how she got the back injury. There's nothing. Everybody's afraid to talk about Angel Reese. I know, people, I'm getting angry emails from people that are threatening emails. It's very slick and subtle, but they're someone needs to smash you in the face with a hammer, Jason, for what you said about Angel Reese. People are sending me subtle threats for talking about Angel Reese disappearing on the Chicago sky. Everybody knows that Ryan Clark and Shaq and these other LSU guys are sitting around laying in the cut. Don't you say nothing about Angel Reese. And so everybody's scared. We've never seen a player just disappear. Kawhi Leonard, they have excuses. They have explanations. They have reasons. This woman has disappeared. They're getting their brains beat out. It's clear as day. I don't think she's looking to get traded. I just think she's protecting her brand and doesn't want these L's on her resume because, she's some sort of winner and she brought LSU a championship and all this. Now, when the going gets tough, and this is where Maurice, I'm sorry, I'm gonna let Frank go first, but I did love your point you made that I didn't elaborate on, but first year in the WNBA, she didn't finish the season. I got a wrist injury. Unrivaled, didn't finish the season. And now another disappearance here in the WNBA. I just don't understand how this isn't being talked about. It looks like one of the so-called biggest stars in the WNBA has quit or pulled a Kawhi Leonard. Frank, you fire first. Maurice, you carry us home.
I mean, I've been calling out this stuff about Angel Reese. That's why I get on her so tough. For the longest, man, that she not for real about playing the game of basketball. She don't love the sport of basketball. She loves what the sport of basketball can do for her. And we not surprised, I know, right? Like Maurice said, she skipped out of Unrivaled. She skipped out of last year. She didn't even come to the playoff games in the championship game just the same way. So I'm not surprised. She skipped out on her team. It went to the Met Gala this year when she had practice and a game the next day. So she's been telling us out loud, very loudly, I'm more about my celebrity status in this game of basketball in the WNBA. And it's that black girl magic is why nobody seems, to talk about it, So the black girl magic, the Yas Queens and all of them, they're not going to say nothing about it. And all of the ones that Captain saved for her, they're not going to say nothing about it. And only thing they're going to say is, well, Angel getting to the bag. She's a poor example for what a woman's basketball, especially a professional.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, it's his job to keep the power on. That's why he chooses Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so he can rise to every challenge.
Act like, and so for the little kid, that's why I really get on her. You see all of the bloopies. If you ever seen a short saying bloopy, that's me talking about all of the time she stinks up the court. You got another guy out there with bangs. He always said, butter pecan, bang. I'm pretty sure you heard that. You ain't ever heard that? Oh, I got to send it to you, Jason. But it's too much. It's too much evidence of her being terrible at basketball.
Maurice?
I think it's embarrassing. It's a travesty what's going on. Angel Reese, it's one thing to be hurt. She's not even showing up to the games anymore. Tyler Marsh was confused that she didn't even go with the team to Indiana. She didn't go with the team to Connecticut. I think it's a travesty as a leader of a franchise and the face of a franchise. You're not even traveling with the team anymore to be on the bench to support your teammates. I think that's terrible. Talking about, oh, well, she's staying back to get treatment. What are you talking? Caitlyn Clark's been at every single game, even though she can't play. Why? Because she still has a duty to the fans. Fans that don't get to see her play in Indiana 20 plus times a year. You know what I mean? Like, she still has a duty to go and represent the team, represent the league. So her not even showing up to games, I think is just ridiculous. And we don't know when the injury came. She was hurt before and you know what? I'm sorry, Jason. Before those all-star votes came out, you were flat out stinking it up. You were shooting like 28% on free throws. You finally took basketball serious. You went on, you got crazy hot before the all-star game. You made the all-star game. The regular season game before the all-star weekend, you don't play, but you played in the all-star game. That was a little weird to me. How can you not play in the real game, but you can play in the all-star game? Little odd. Then you play after the all-star break. You're saying your back is hurting. Coach didn't want to take you out, and you've been sitting out since. I don't know what's going on. Either you don't care as much as you portray you do, or are the WNBA flat out liars in not being honest about injuries to continue selling tickets? This is also another thing that needs to be talked about. We watched Caitlyn Clark be listed as day-to-day for a long time, and they were continuing to push that she's a game time decision. Only till 2 hours before to say, hey, she's not playing. So is the WNBA not being honest about you guys' injury status and just letting it be known you're going to be out several weeks? Or are you guys not as hurt as Angel Reese, not as hurt as she's saying she is? Because I don't understand it. They're not showing up to games, not finishing any season. You didn't even show up to the championship unrivaled game. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So we don't know what's going on. Somebody's not being honest with us.
Maurice, I'm really glad you made that point because it takes me to the Caitlyn Clark part of the discussion I wanted to have. I do want to say, and I'm not saying this to pick on Angel Reese, I'm just stating factually. Angel Reese playing or not playing, Angel Reese playing or not playing isn't going to move one ticket either direction. No one goes to see Angel Reese rebound. Seriously, they don't. She doesn't sell tickets. She's a nice little media story, and good for her, and it's a nice little brand. But I don't think that's the agenda as it relates to Angel Reese. I do. There's 5% of me that is like, hey, what is up with Caitlyn Clark? You know, and again, I know groin injuries can be tricky, but I don't know what's going on with Caitlyn Clark. And I heard someone walk through a scenario, an ESPN reporter talking about when she might return, that leads you to believe that her return might be against the Minnesota Lynx. They play the Minnesota Lynx back-to-back games at the end of this month. And I'm like, hey, man, if the Indiana Fever are dumb enough to bring Caitlyn Clark back against the Minnesota Lynx, that'd be her first game back, that everybody should be fired. Dejanay Carrington, the Stud Bud twins, or whoever, whatever they are, they will eat her for lunch. Don't feed her to the Lions. And again, it's not that she can't handle it, but I want some warm-up before she faces the Minnesota Lynx and that three-guard defensive crew that they now have waiting on Caitlyn Clark. If they do that, they're idiots. And so, to me, I would be putting Caitlyn Clark out there for 10 minutes a game. Maybe this, I can't remember if they play Sunday or Monday. I know they play tonight, but I would be getting Caitlyn Clark back into playing just 10 minutes a game. I think they play on the 17th, whatever day that is. I think that's Sunday. And then I think there's a 5-day break after they play on Sunday, and they play on that Friday, and I think it's against the Minnesota Lynx. But just sending her out there against the Minnesota Lynx, I think, would be insanity. But I have now thought, Maurice, you raised the possibility, and other people have raised the possibility, is there a chance that she's done for the season and they're just not telling us? Go ahead, Maurice.
When you really think about it, okay, so prior to, Ari McDonald and Sydney Colson get hurt. Very, sad injuries. The next day, it's on the WNBA site that Kaylin Clark is now day-to-day. So we're like, oh, whoa, she might be back for the Dallas Wings. Yeah, okay, she probably won't be back for Tuesday, but day-to-day, she might be ready for Friday. She might be ready for Friday's game. She might be ready. A day before the Friday game, or 2 days before the Friday game, Scott Agnes comes out, Fever writer, reporter, and says, oh, Caitlyn Clark's at least several weeks away. Wait a minute. What is it? You got on the WNBA site, it's saying she's been upgraded to day-to-day. The insider is now saying, oh, no, she's at least several weeks. Somebody's lying. They're not being honest about what is going on. It just doesn't make sense. And we don't know. And honestly, at this point, maybe she should just sit out. This season is a wash. Man, Stephanie White didn't even know who the new player that they signed was yesterday. It could have been one of us that walked into the gym for all she knew. She had no idea who the new girl was. I mean, it's just insane. We don't know what's going on.
Frank?
I've always been under the belief that she was never injured until I seen her get injured. That game, I think it was versus the Seattle Storm, where she actually hit her head on the backboard and went to the sideline and started crying. It's the first time I seen her actually get injured. The other times they would just tell us out of weird situations too. I understood when they told us she was out for the first preseason game, the fact that she had a back-to-back in the Brazil, playing against Brazil the next day in Iowa, sold out crowd, $650-something on average ticket. So I understood. I said, okay, they saying she out. Why play a back-to-back preseason game, especially you don't want nothing to happen to her for the Brazil game. And then they said she was going to sit out for the last preseason game, that she was out of that game too. I understood that too. They just using that excuse so she won't play and she'll be ready for the regular season. Smart move on the Fever, I thought. But a lot of people took it as, oh, she really hurt. I'm like, no, that's just preseason. They do that all the time for all the sports with stars. They'll make up an excuse to keep them out of preseason games. And then when she played her first 3 games, had a good first 3 games, 27 points, 20, 10, and 10 the first game versus the Sky, and another 18 and 9 assists the third game. And all of a sudden, the next day, Kaylin Clark is out. And we're like, what? She played the whole game. We seen her against the New York Liberty. She tried to take the last shot. She looked fine. But they said she was out. And she set out for so long. When she got back, the stop and go hot and cold, minute restrictions and things of that nature. I don't know, man. It's all been weird. I've never seen an injury, especially to a star player, to where we can't get the severity of the injury. Is it a level 1 strain? Is it a tweak? Is it a pinched nerve? What is it? You know? And they keep like it's secrecy. Okay, cool. So I see her signing autograph. I went to the Dallas Wings game the first time they played them, and was sitting courtside, and I'm seeing her sign autographs around the whole stadium. And and I'm like, ain't you supposed to have a leg injury? Why would you be standing up? It took her almost an hour, Jason. She was literally, and she does this every game. If you got growing injuries on both legs, that's just not smart. I see her jumping up and down out of her seat. It looks like she's fine to me, Jason. She's ready to compete, but let the Indiana Fever tell it, WNBA tell it, day to day.
I do think it's confusing. I think the one elephant in the room we may be ignoring is like the whole Indiana Fever decision-making structure. I believe it's all feminine. It's all women. President, senior advisor, head coach, blah, blah. And so it doesn't shock me that they can't all get on the same page, particularly when you have a head coach who doesn't seem to be in great partnership with the most important player. It seems like it's obvious they get along, but they're not what Lisa Bluder and Caitlyn Clark were. And look, maybe it can't happen in 1 year, but you know, they're not on the same page. And when Stephanie White made the comment about Caitlyn and her team will make that decision and I won't be a part of it. Remember, she said this publicly. I thought that was passive-aggressive complaining. I'm no part of the decision-making process. Caitlyn and her team, she's putting out little subtle signals. And this again, I go, they need to get a man either in that head coaching position or somewhere in that decision-making structure up front who's going to have a pair and say, hey, look here, all of you, I wouldn't use the B word, but I think it. Y'all going to fall in line behind me and Caitlyn Clark. We fit in the build a Caitlyn Clark organization, and Aaliyah Boston's going to be a big part of it. Kelsey Mitchell's going to be a big part of it. But everybody's got to fall in line behind me and Caitlyn because this is the direction we're going. Stephanie White wants everybody to fall in line behind her, including Caitlyn Clark. It's just not going to happen. Phil Jackson had a partnership with Michael Jordan. Phil Jackson had a partnership with Kobe and Shaq. And then Bill Belichick had a partnership with Tom Brady. This is just the way it is when you have Larry Bird had a partnership with Red Auerbach. Bill Russell had a partnership with Red Auerbach. This is just the way that it is. And you got a group of women that their instincts are, let's do it by committee. And that's why anytime I see 3 female referees huddle up trying to decide what happened, I was like, okay, I'll come back. Let me go to the bathroom. Let me go get some refrigerator. It's going to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes for these 3 women to make a decision. You put a man in there or 3 men, decisions get made quicker. It's just like, hey, man, there's protocol. Hey, let's just all fall in line. We're not all equals here. Caitlyn Clark is more equal than everybody else, and we all just got to fall in line. That's not what's happening. Team's a hot mess. It's frustrating. Caitlyn Clark better play this year. I do not want her sitting out the rest of the season. That would piss me off, and it would be another blown opportunity by the WNBA. Gentlemen, take 15 to 30 seconds, final thoughts, and then I got to let you go. Frank, you go first. Maurice, close us out.
Well, yeah, I'm with you, Jason. I feel like she's ready to go, and she needs to go ahead and get in there because the Fever, it looked like they can be trickling down out of the playoffs or at the bottom tier of the playoffs. You try to bring her back too late, you can really, like Maurice said, this season would be a wash. Now, you could also trend upwards and get into the third, possibly second, if she come back and things go well and y'all start rocking on one accord. So Again, and shout out to you, Jason, for having me on, having Maurice on, and talking about this good Caitlyn Clark situations and things of that nature. Much love.
Thank you. Maurice?
Yeah, hopefully Caitlyn will be back soon. My thing would just be let's just wait to hear from Caitlyn. We can't believe anything the WNBA say or the Indiana Fever. They're all liars. So, yeah, hopefully she'll be back soon. And I think with the healthy Caitlyn Clark, the Indiana Fever do have enough to compete with anybody in the league. So hopefully she'll be back soon.
Gentlemen, have y'all hopped over to fearlessmission.com and got your Pay Fans Respect t-shirt? Or maybe I'll get Hadley to send me y'all's address. I'll send them to you. The next time you come on, I want you in one of my Pay Fans Respect t-shirts. But I do appreciate y'all. And again, I'm glad you said what you said, Frank, because this isn't a gimmick. Anybody that's followed my career, you go all the way back to Kansas City and sports talk radio and just me as a columnist in Kansas City. I've always tried to include the fans in whatever I'm doing. I don't want to disconnect from the fans. I want to amplify y'all's voices. The other, from Ben to Ock Nation, I got to do something to help Ock improve his setup because he's blurry and his voice sounds terrible. I got to help him with his equipment. John the Liquidator, we want to circle back to you. I can't remember the other guy. But anyway, I want this to be a place where fans do have a voice. I'm not better than you all. I'm just trying to be, I'm better looking than you guys, but I'm not better than you all. I'm just trying to give fans a voice. And so thank you, gentlemen, for playing along and participating. I got to go. I've already gone too long. You guys know how I get carried away talking about the WNBA. It's no one else. TJ Moe doesn't want to talk to me about it. Steve Kim doesn't want to talk to me about it. I like talking about it, and these guys do too. We'll play some tomorrow.